The Galactic Council chamber floated in deep space, silent and ancient. Its walls were made of light and energy, shaped by civilizations older than human history. Thousands of stars could be seen through its transparent dome, shining like witnesses to every decision made inside. On this day, a new species was being discussed. Humans. A small blue hologram of Earth hovered in the center of the chamber. Compared to the massive star maps and glowing empires around it, the planet looked fragile, weak, alone. Laughter echoed. "They are still divided by borders," said the tall Virelian delegate, his voice smooth with mockery. "They fight wars over land and beliefs. They burn fossil fuels," another voice sneered, "primitive and dangerous." Several species nodded in agreement. To them, humans were loud, emotional, and slow. They had no natural defenses, no psychic abilities, no biological weapons. Their ships were tiny compared to the great fleets of the galaxy. Only one screen showed human representatives. They stood quietly listening. Men and women in simple uniforms, no glowing armor, no floating thrones. They did not interrupt. The council leader finally spoke. "Earth will be granted observer status only. You may not expand beyond your assigned systems. Any violation will be punished." The message was clear: you are not important. The human ambassador lowered his head slightly. "We understand," he said calmly. More laughter followed. As the meeting ended, many believed that would be the last time humanity mattered. But back on Earth, no one was laughing. In underground cities and deep space facilities, humans watched the broadcast in silence. Scientists, engineers, farmers, soldiers, parents holding children. They had heard the insults. They had felt the dismissal. But they also remembered something the galaxy did not know. Humans had survived extinction before. They survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, near total destruction caused by their own mistakes. Every time they fell, they stood back up scarred but wiser. Instead of anger, a quiet determination spread across Earth. "If we are weak," one engineer said softly, "then we will become strong. If we are small," another replied, "then we will think big." And if the galaxy believed humans were nothing more than a joke, humans would not argue. They would prove it wrong. Construction began far from watching eyes. In empty systems behind dead stars, inside artificial shadows. No flags were raised. No messages were sent. The galaxy saw silence. But silence was not surrender. It was preparation. And while the galaxy laughed at humanity's weakness, humanity began building something that would one day make the stars themselves fall quiet. Something the galaxy was not ready to see. For 200 years, humans remained quiet. They did not send fleets to challenge alien empires. They did not argue with the Galactic Council. They did not wave weapons or shout warnings. To the galaxy, Earth seemed small, harmless, even foolish. But humans were not foolish. Every city, every research lab, every hidden facility on Earth and beyond was alive with purpose. Engineers bent over blueprints. Scientists studied the physics of stars, and programmers wrote codes to control unimaginable machines. They were building, not for war, not for glory, but for survival and endurance. Humans were patient. They understood something the galaxy did not. Speed alone does not define power. Strength comes from planning, learning, and persistence. While other species rushed to conquer new systems, humans quietly improved. They studied alien technologies, repaired broken starships, and reimagined science in ways no one else thought possible. "You think we cannot reach the stars," said one scientist, her hand steady over a holographic map. "Then we will take the stars to us." Across secret laboratories, machines hummed with silent energy. Metals unknown to the galaxy were forged. Engines powered by artificial suns were tested. Planetary shields, larger than moons, shimmered invisibly around hidden worlds. Every creation was designed to endure attacks, withstand disasters, and carry life across light years. Yet humans never flaunted their progress. There were no broadcasts, no messages of warning, only quiet determination. The galaxy laughed at their silence. "They hide because they are weak," sneered a council member. "They have nothing to offer." And humans listened quietly, as they always had. They remembered Earth's past, how their ancestors had survived disasters that should have ended them, how civilizations had burned and rebuilt, how the human spirit, no matter how small, had always refused to break. And in that memory, humans found hope. Hope became their strength. Hope became their weapon. Generations were raised in this quiet preparation. Children learned both science and resilience. Soldiers trained not to destroy but to protect. Every human understood one truth. When the time came, they would not fight as the galaxy expected. They would fight as humans always did, with heart, endurance, and ingenuity. And then one day, without warning, the galaxy would see. For now, humans remained unseen. Small ships moved through hidden warp tunnels. Engineers perfected engines that could move planets. Scientists built artificial stars to power entire cities. And in the dark void of distant systems, humans shaped their future in silence. The galaxy thought humans were nothing. Humans thought differently. They were not weak, they were not powerless. They were preparing for a day when the universe itself would have to recognize Earth's children could change everything. And in that quiet determination, a spark began to grow, a spark that would one day become a storm no star, no empire, and no ancient machine could ignore. The first warning came as a shadow. Entire systems vanished without a sound. Stars flickered and died, leaving nothing behind but cold darkness. The Devourers, ancient machines older than most galaxies, had awakened. They did not negotiate. They did not reason. They consumed. Planets, moons, entire civilizations, all erased in the blink of a cosmic eye. The Galactic Council panicked. Fleets scrambled, superweapons fired, shields flared, but nothing worked. The Devourers ignored pain, destruction, and diplomacy. Worlds burned, screams echoed across space, and hope faded faster than starlight. Earth watched. Humans did not panic. They did not flee. Mothers held children close, soldiers tightened their grips on controls, and scientists adjusted their calculations. Every human knew the galaxy had underestimated them, and now survival depended on more than speed or firepower. A council ambassador begged Earth to evacuate. "Your planet is doomed," he warned. "Leave now while you still can." The human ambassador remained calm. His eyes reflected the blue of Earth's oceans. "We are not running," he said. Panic rippled through the council chambers. "But they cannot fight them. No species can. You will be destroyed." Humanity had already decided. They would not watch the galaxy fall, and they would not allow their world to vanish. From hidden systems and secret facilities, humanity mobilized. Massive engines ignited in dark corners of space. Artificial suns blazed into life. Shields hummed as they stretched around massive structures. Worlds rebuilt as ships, living planets that could carry billions of lives. The Devourers came. Their massive forms, like broken stars with jagged teeth, tore through fleets and destroyed planets. The Council expected Earth to fall like the rest. But humans were ready. The first human planetship moved forward. Its surface glowed with cities and forests, its shields absorbing blows that would have shattered a normal world. It was slow but unstoppable. The galaxy watched in disbelief as human vessels, some as large as moons, confronted the Devourers. No human shouted threats. No weapon fired blindly. Every move was precise, every strike calculated. Humans did not fight recklessly, they endured. On Earth, children looked up at the stars. They did not understand the full scale of what was happening, but they felt hope. For the first time, the galaxy realized the quiet humans were not weak. They are not afraid, a council member whispered. They are different. Yes, different. Humanity had waited, learned, built, and now they were ready. As the Devourers closed in on Earth, the first planet ship raised its shields. Light blazed across the void, brighter than any sun, reflecting off the dark hulls of the machines. The galaxy, for the first time, went silent. Because humans were no longer the small, fragile species everyone had mocked. They were something else entirely. And the universe was about to see. The first human planet ship appeared quietly as if it had always been part of the stars. At first, the galaxy thought it was a new moon or a drifting asteroid, but then it moved. Slowly, deliberately, and it was enormous, larger than any planet anyone had ever mapped. Then came another, and another. Entire worlds transformed into ships carrying forests, oceans, and cities within. Artificial suns glowed in their cores, casting light across shields strong enough to bend the very fabric of space. The Devourers, ancient and merciless, paused. Machines that had eaten countless stars could not comprehend what approached. The Council watched in horror. The species they had mocked, the weak humans, had built weapons and defenses on a scale no one could imagine. But these were not weapons in the usual sense. These were living worlds, strong enough to protect millions of lives, designed not to destroy but to endure. From hidden channels, the human ambassador sent a single message to the galaxy. Please clear your skis. It was simple, polite, yet filled with the unspoken warning that the Council had ignored for centuries. Then the Devourers attacked. They struck with the force of dying suns, tearing apart fleets that had once been considered unstoppable. But human planet ships absorbed the blows. Shields flared, engines roared, and yet the cities and forests inside remained untouched. Civilian populations, human and alien, were safe. Humans had designed their vessels to protect life, not annihilate it. A massive devourer lunged at one of the planet ships, expecting to crush it. The human ship responded not with fear but with precision. Its engines flared and it rammed the devourer, bending the machine's metallic body without breaking its own hull. Another ship opened massive docking bays, releasing squadrons of smaller vessels. The devourers tried to adapt, but humans moved with a strategy no one could predict, resilient, patient, and intelligent. Across the galaxy, eyes widened. Worlds that had once laughed at Earth's small, fragile ships now trembled in awe. Scholars and generals whispered the same words. They have turned planets into weapons, no into shields, against death itself. And humans did not shout or gloat. They fought with calm determination, protecting as they advanced. They were not there to conquer. They were there to survive, and to show the galaxy that even the smallest, most underestimated species could rise to a scale no one could imagine. From Earth to the edge of the galaxy, children and elders watched the skis blaze with new hope. Humans had revealed their strength not with rage, but with courage, planning, and care. For the first time, the galaxy understood. The species it had mocked for centuries was no longer small. It was unstoppable. The quiet years of preparation had ended. The humans had arrived. And nothing, not even ancient death machines, would make the galaxy forget it. The battle raged across the void, yet humans did not fight like anyone expected. They did not charge with anger. They did not seek vengeance. They fought with precision, endurance, and purpose. Every strike was calculated. Every defense was designed to protect life. Alien commanders watched in disbelief. Human planet ships moved as if alive, absorbing attacks that would have shattered any other fleet. Cities on their surfaces glowed with life, forests shimmered under protective shields, and millions of civilians, human and alien, remained safe. Humans were not destroying the devourers blindly. They were outsmarting them, using strategy, patience, and resilience. A Virelian admiral trembled as he observed a human ship shield an entire council world from destruction. "Why do they protect us?" he whispered to his aide. Because they know what it means to almost lose everything, came the quiet reply. Indeed, humans remembered loss. They remembered the extinction events that nearly erased their species, the wars that had torn their world apart, the plagues and disasters, and they understood fear. But humans also remembered hope. That hope had fueled them through centuries of preparation, and now it guided every move they made. When a devourer tore into space, aiming to consume a colony, humans did not strike it down immediately. Instead, they used gravitational shields to divert its attacks, slowing it, weakening it, and finally neutralizing it without unnecessary destruction. Every life saved became a message to the galaxy. Humans did not conquer, they endured. Children on distant planets watched transmissions of the battle. They saw their heroes, humans, move like forces of nature, not with hatred but with purpose. Soldiers on Earth whispered to one another as they coordinated planet-sized maneuvers. We fight for everyone, not just ourselves. That is the human way. Even the devourers, relentless and ancient, began to falter. They could not understand this kind of resistance. Their attacks, which had destroyed countless civilizations, were absorbed and countered by creatures they had considered fragile. One planet ship, glowing with artificial sunlight, rammed a devourer to protect a system of inhabited worlds. Another opened massive bays, releasing swarms of smaller ships that disabled the enemy with precision strikes. The galaxy, which had mocked humans for their supposed weakness, was now watching in stunned silence. For the first time, species across the stars realized the truth. Humans were not weak. They were not reckless. They were unstoppable when protecting life. And they fought with heart. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. The species that had been laughed at, ridiculed, and dismissed had become the shield of worlds. Humans did not need to shout. They did not need to conquer. Their actions spoke louder than any weapon. They had waited, they had prepared. And now, as planets collided with impossibly precise force, and shields blazed brighter than suns, the galaxy finally understood. The humans had arrived not just to survive, but to protect everything they valued, even the lives of those who once mocked them. And the universe would never underestimate them again. The battle had reached its peak. Across the void, human planet ships formed a living wall, stretching farther than any star map could contain. The devourers attacked relentlessly, their jagged bodies striking like falling meteors, tearing apart fleets and ripping planets apart. Yet the human line did not break. Every human vessel was more than metal and energy. They were homes, cities, forests, entire ecosystems moving as one. Shields flared, absorbing blows that could have shattered a normal world. Engines roared like the heartbeat of the species itself. Humans were calm. They did not panic. They did not flee. They endured. From the Galactic Council, observers watched in disbelief. Species that had once mocked humans now trembled. The so-called weaklings were holding the line against monsters that had devoured countless civilizations. On one human planet ship, a captain monitored the devourers' movements. "Steady," she commanded softly. "We hold, we protect, we survive." The devourers tried to adapt. They changed their forms, attacked from new angles, and focused their might on the largest human vessels. But humanity's preparation was greater than any strategy the galaxy had seen. Planet after planet ship moved in perfect harmony, outlasting the enemy. They did not seek destruction. They outsmarted it. Days passed, weeks blurred. The devourers' creatures that had devoured stars began to falter. Their ancient cores overheated. Their systems failed. One by one they collapsed, consumed not by weapons but by the humans' endurance, precision, and unyielding spirit. On Earth, people held their breath. Children clung to parents as reports streamed in from across the galaxy. Systems thought lost were safe. Entire civilizations survived because humans had refused to yield. When the final devourer disintegrated into starlight, silence fell. The galaxy had witnessed something unimaginable. The species it had dismissed, mocked, and laughed at had defeated the impossible. And they had done it without hatred, without rage. They had done it with patience, intelligence, and heart. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. This time, humans were not summoned as observers. They were invited as equals. The species that had been laughed at for centuries now stood in the center of galactic power. A Virelian ambassador whose species had once mocked humans openly whispered to a colleague, "We thought them weak, but they are beyond us." And it was true. Humans had shown the galaxy a lesson older than any council law or ancient star. Strength is not measured by claws, weapons, or psychic powers. Strength is measured by endurance, by hope, by the courage to protect life when all else fails. The human representative stood before the council. He did not shout. He did not boast. His calm voice carried a weight far greater than any weapon. "We never wanted to conquer," he said. "We only wanted to make sure no child, human or alien, would see their world destroyed while others laughed." And in that moment the galaxy understood. Humanity had arrived not to dominate but to endure, not to destroy but to protect, not to shout but to be the shield of life itself. The devourers were gone. The galaxy had been humbled. And humans had proven that patience, courage, and heart could triumph over even the oldest horrors of the universe. The council chamber had never been so quiet. Every species, old and new, watched as the humans stood at the center. No glowing armor, no towering machines, no threats. Just men and women with calm eyes and steady voices, carrying centuries of preparation and hope. The representative spoke. "We never sought power over others," he said. "We only wished to protect life, ours, yours, and all those who cannot protect themselves." Whispers spread through the chamber. Generals, scholars, and diplomats who had once mocked humanity felt a weight pressing on them. These humans, so small in appearance, had moved planets, outlasted ancient killers, and saved worlds that were supposed to be lost. They had not done it for glory. They had done it because they cared. A child from a distant star system looked up at her mother. "Are they really saving us?" she asked. "Yes," the mother whispered, tears in her eyes. "They fight for life, not for conquest. That is their way." For the first time in galactic history, a species had earned respect not through fear or domination, but through heart, endurance, and ingenuity. The council offered leadership, positions of honor, even control over entire sectors. Humans refused. Instead, they shared knowledge. They taught the galaxy how to defend itself, how to survive, and how to build without destroying. They showed that strength was not in domination, but in protection. They reminded every species that the smallest, most underestimated beings could shape the destiny of entire stars. The galaxy, once filled with laughter at Earth's supposed weakness, had learned a lesson that would never be forgotten: humility, respect, hope. And humanity, they returned to their worlds. Their planet ships glowed softly in the distance, carrying life, cities, forests, and oceans. They were ready for any threat, but they did not seek conflict. Their gift to the galaxy was simple yet profound: the courage to endure, the wisdom to protect, and the patience to rise when the time was right. Elders on Earth looked at the skies, remembering the laughter of the past. They smiled, quietly proud. Children pointed to the stars, dreaming not of war, but of wonder, of creation, of hope. The council finally spoke aloud what all species had come to feel. "Never again shall we mock a species that survives with courage and hope." And the humans, who had been laughed at for centuries, had changed the galaxy forever. Because when humans build, they build to last. They build to protect. And they build to inspire. In the silent stars that night, a new truth shone brighter than any sun. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species that would never be underestimated again. The universe had learned what Earth always knew: that the human spirit, patient, enduring, and brave, could face any darkness and turn it into light. and in that light the galaxy was finally whole.